Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Heathwyn and I have a speed build for you today. If you have been watching on my channel, you know that I've been playing Not So Berry Let's Play, and the Gray Gen, which is my 4th generation, just aged up into a young adult, which means he needs his own place to live. So the speed build that I have for you today is me building a new home for Paul, who is the heir of my Gray Gen. So why don't we take a look at how that turned out? So I am building here in Newcrest because that's where I am anticipating Paul to be moving. They currently live in Oasis Springs right now. So he'll be moving to Newcrest and living there. And so this is the house that I am working on building for him. And I tried to do something different and like make it more like a Cape, not a Cape Cod, but like a style that has like the dormers and whatnot, but I failed at this. So you're seeing me like put it together here and it like turns out okay, like to look at, but I just run into problems later. So that's what's happening at the moment. So while we are kind of working on getting the shape and the floor plan of the house going, I think I will just kind of bring you up to speed a little bit on things that have been going on with me. It's speed builds kind of work out as a nice way to do that. So I did take a couple of weeks off because I was pretty ill. I don't know exactly what ended up being the problem, but I was very ill and really just didn't feel up to coming and like sitting and recording anything. I didn't even like play The Sims. Like that's how poorly I felt. So I didn't play The Sims. I didn't do anything like that. I just basically laid and was sick for like almost an entire week. And so I did take a little bit of time off from that, and then I've recorded and released a couple of Not So Berry episodes this past week, hence, you know, the need to be building this house for our dear Sim Paul. That being said, I had anticipated starting to stream on Twitch, but because I was unwell, I didn't end up doing that. So I have started to stream on Twitch and it's made me really nervous. I'm recording this before I've gone live for the first time, so I don't know how it's going to go, but I am very nervous about it and trying to not be too nervous. I will link below my Twitch channel if you are curious and want to like check out a live stream from me. I will put that below and you can pop in sometime as you are able if that floats your boat. So anyway, I wanted to do that because basically The Sims has been something in my life that has really helped me. And I'm not just talking The Sims 4, I'm talking like way back to like The Sims 1. It has been the game that has really helped me through a lot of really difficult periods in my life. For whatever reason, it just has been like a comfort game for me. You know, when I'm having problems in my own life, you know, I can go into The Sims and play The Sims and I feel better. Like, you know, things might not be going well in my life, but through The Sims, you know, things can be going well. And so because of that, and how much The Sims has actually helped me, I kind of felt like it would be fun to have a community of other people where we can be together and let this game help us through whatever life is coming that way and kind of be a support network for each other. So that is kind of what I am thinking in regards to a Twitch channel and how that might go and how that might look. So that's coming. Hopefully it will already have happened the first time and I'm just gonna try to rip the band-aid off and do it. But like I said, I'm very nervous about it and I'm very nervous about it. I feel really awkward when I record, so I'm hoping that it'll help maybe my recording get better and whatnot. I'm not super high energy and particularly loud, so hopefully just creating like a chill space will be appealing to people. Anyway, enough about that. As I mentioned in one of my previous speed builds, I did purchase a home And so we will be moving into that home sometime in August. I am going to be closing and taking possession of the home at the end of the month here in July, so I'm really excited about that. I'm not sure how things are going to work with videos and recording while we are going through that whole process, because August is going to be a very, very busy month with all of that, but it's really exciting and we are very excited about it. All right, so kind of going into the build a little bit and looking at what's been going on. So this is the gray gen, so everything is gray. It's very monochromatic. So it's, you know, it's not the brightest and the most colorful of homes, but I do like how it turned out. I really like how the kitchen turned out. And I do give like little teeny pops of color in places, just because all gray or like white and black it's kind of rough. Like it just feels really blah and not the most stimulating of space. But that being said, I really like how the kitchen came together. It is very monochromatic, but I like it for the kitchen. I like how it looks. I like the Parenthood tile wall that has like the matching just paint swatch where it's got like the wood on the bottom. I really, really like those wallpapers. Like, I think they work so well for kitchens and bathrooms too, really. And I really like them as like a backsplash of, you know, behind the stove and the sink and where you might be preparing food. I like that quite a bit. I really, like I said, I really do like how the kitchen came together. I don't like heavily clutter things up a whole lot because, as we know, I'm not a clutter person when it comes to decorating. I'm just not, and I don't think I ever will be, and I am okay with that. I like my builds the way that they turn out, and I'm just, you know, I'm happy with that, and I do feel like overall, like, things are improving quite a bit with my building skills. So I am pleased with that. Like I said, the house is very gray. I do try to add in little pops of color here and there, but nothing too over the top. Okay, I say that the house is very gray, but our next gen is going to be plum. So there is also going to be purple in some places, which we'll get to later. I did take quite a long time building this house, so you'll see this is a longer speed build. I originally had planned to have Paul just move out and move into a starter home and then kind of build up from there because, you know, he's kind of fed up with Prue. You know, she wasn't around for his birthday and he's just ready to kind of move out and be on his own. So he is going to move out. Prue will stay in her yellow house in Oasis Springs and just Paul will be moving in here to begin with. And so I kind of thought about giving him a starter home and just going from there. But honestly, more because I was lazy than anything else. I didn't really want to have to build another house or like add on or change the house. I just kind of wanted to build once and be done with it. So that's why he is getting his house like ready to go for however many children he has, and it's just ready to go, and it's not a starter home. So that's why this house is how it is. And there are a million packs that are used in this house because this is a house that I'm using for gameplay. And since it's a house that I'm using for gameplay, I just kind of wanted to build it the way that I liked it without worrying about packs. It is up on the gallery available for download. You will want to check the packs if you don't have them all and just make sure or be prepared to replace things that, you know, weren't in there that came out because they didn't have a pack. But it is there on the gallery if you so desire. So we have Cottage Living coming out next week, which I am very excited about. I know a lot of people are very excited about that. And with the new pack coming out, I kind of wanted to give you an idea of what's going to be coming on the channel in the next week or so. So I am going to record a couple of episodes of the Not So Berry Challenge this weekend, so we will see some more of Paul as he's kind of getting into things. I usually release videos on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and with the pack coming out on Thursday, it comes out at 1 p.m. my time. I'm not gonna be able to like have a cottage living video on Thursday, so probably Tuesday and Thursday will be not so berry episodes. And then on Saturday, I will get into some of the cottage living stuff. I may start with a build, or I may go right into some gameplay. I have an idea for a let's play that I want to do with the cottage living gameplay, and so that I'm actually really kind of excited about. And so I may decide that I just want to start that right away, or I may do the build for that let's play and post that. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to start with, but definitely the following week there will be cottage living gameplay. I may not do a not so berry episode this week and just kind of do the cottage living, or next week, the following week after cottage living comes out, and I might just focus on that, or I might throw in a not so berry episode. It just depends really on how I'm feeling and what I want to play. If I want to keep going with the country living stuff, which I very well might, because I'm so excited about it. I've been watching some of the Game Changers videos, and I'm just really excited to dive into that gameplay and have a lot of fun with it. And so I may not want to come back to Paul once that comes out for a little while. I may just want to play that. And so we will see. I will be streaming that gameplay because I am going to do it. I am going to start streaming. Like I said, I keep chickening out. It's like makes me really nervous. So I've chickened out a couple of times. So I am going to stream that gameplay once the pack is live. What exactly that's going to look like, I'm not 100% sure yet. I think I'm going to just see how streaming goes this weekend and how comfortable I am with all of the software and everything that I need to do. I may start with something really simple because I'm still figuring out streaming, or I may just, do something crazy. I don't know yet. But I am really looking forward to that pack. Let me know in the comments below if you are too. I don't know what I'm looking forward to the most. The world is gorgeous and amazing, and I know there's a lot of really good lore. I'm really looking forward to the gardening and the animals. I'm really intrigued by I'm forgetting what it's called, but the lot challenge, where basically you have to have the things in your refrigerator or your inventory in order to be able to make make various recipes. I think it's the simple living trait or lot challenge or something like that. I'm really excited about that, and I think that will be a lot of fun. So we'll just kind of talk a little bit more about what is going on here in the build. So I've done the downstairs and the living area. There are like little bits and pops of blue in here, which I thought was appropriate since Paul is blue, and it kind of keeps it from being super bland and dull with just, gray and black and white. The little pops of the blue, I think, go really, really nicely with the gray and white and give it just a little bit of depth and a little bit of interest that might otherwise be lacking. So I like how that blue looks with the gray. You'll see like in the carpet there by I call it the skill area because there's like a chess table and the desk and the computer. There's a little bit of blue in that, and I like just the way that it brings in like that little pop of color to kind of keep it from being completely bleh. So going into the main bedroom now, I like this bed a lot from Eco Lifestyle, but it was really hard for me to find a matching dresser. And again, with all of the colors being as limited as they are, it was kind of, that was definitely a challenge too. I did put a treadmill in Paul's room because Paul is a fitness oriented sim. He has the bodybuilder aspiration and he wants to be a professional athlete. So that's why you see like the basketball jerseys put around and like the basketball decal on the wall and the sports equipment, and there's a treadmill. I did think about making the room adjacent to this specifically a gym, but ultimately I ended up deciding to go with a nursery just because I didn't want to redecorate. Like, I was feeling really lazy when I built this. Like, I don't want to change things down the road, so I'm just gonna build it how I want it now. that really kind of drove a lot of this build, was just, I'm feeling lazy and I don't want to change things. I was worried about the bed being too close to the dresser, but I did play test it and a sim can get through there, so that isn't a problem. They can sleep in the bed, it's usable, so no worries with that, fortunately. And I do a little bit of clutter in here, like I put in some shoes, I do some plants, some candles, and as I'm like decorating all of this, I'm like, this house does not look like a house that a single guy lives in. Like, because he's moving in as a single guy who's kind of like an athlete and a jock, and this house doesn't look like that. So we're just gonna pretend that like Prue decorated the house for him and he just moved in on his own. Like, he's a little spoiled. He didn't have a good relationship with his mom, but she's like taking care of him financially so he can move in here. So as I mentioned, the next generation is plum, so there's gonna be a lot of purple now. So I created a nursery. This is gonna be the nursery space for Paul's children. I left an open area so that the bassinet could go in there. That's why it's kind of like open and empty right there. Now this is where I was telling you I struggled upstairs. I tried to do something I haven't done before, and made like the gable, or not the gables, the dormers, and I tried to make something different, but I could not get it to work with the roofing. Basically the walls became like the roof, so when I tried to put wallpaper on them, it was like wallpapering the outside of the house. And I could not figure out how to fix it, and I didn't feel like wasting any more time than I already had wasted trying to figure this out. So I just deleted them and made an upstairs and redid the floor plan, and yeah. So the rooms are a lot bigger now that I did this than they were originally. Ultimately, this house ends up being 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. So I am thinking Paul is going to have 3 kids. And you'll see the nursery not included in that because obviously it's set up for a toddler, but I have room upstairs for 3 kids to sleep. So I'm thinking Paul is going to have 3 kids. In the bigger room, I put bunk beds thinking like 2 could share it, and then a single bed in the other room. Maybe the other room is like when they become a teenager, they can move in there and it's like their own space. I haven't really gotten that far, but I did use that tent that came with the Dream Home Decorator pack. I haven't really played with that a whole lot. I do know that if you size it down, it still works. So I did size it down because it's gigantic. It is huge. But you will notice I do have a little bit of a nod in here to Prue. There is some space themed things because Prue was really into space. Paul wasn't, but those are still they're still in here, kind of, a nod back to our dear sim Prue. And so yeah, the upstairs though is like purple, because this is the kids' space. I don't foresee Paul being up here a whole lot. This is kind of where the kids are gonna be. They have a bathroom upstairs, so that'll be nice. There wasn't any good purple tile. Like, I don't think there was any purple tile actually. So I went with this kind of fun cat themed tile that came with Snowy Escape that I thought was fun and worked for a kid's bathroom. So it doesn't really necessarily fit with the purple, but it's like black and there's gray and there's blue, and those are colors that are downstairs and kind of go along with Paul. So I think that they work okay in that space. Not a whole lot on the landing. I really just put the tent out there, and then I do go in and I put like the science table, because the next generation, they're gonna be like a Renaissance sim, and they're gonna spend a lot of time in the doctor career. So I'm thinking that the heir is probably gonna be a whiz kid, and they'll need the science table and the science skills for that. So I'm just kind of cluttering up this space. I'm not the best at doing and cluttering kids' rooms. I'm just not the best at cluttering, period. Let's be honest. But I did try to make it feel a little bit more like a kid space, not quite as like sterile and clean as maybe the downstairs was. I think the downstairs kind of had that feel to it as well, because it's all very monochromatic. Whereas upstairs there's like the pops of color, and it's like a contrast from what is downstairs. So I've pretty much finished decorating the interior. I did remember to put in curtains, and I got the curtains to work pretty well, so that was good. I forgot trash cans, so I went back and I added those. But now I'm working on the outside, the yards, and the landscaping of the yards. And I kind of go in the back, and I'm thinking, you know, Paul, so he's really into fitness. He also likes singing, which you will have seen there with a microphone. But he also is really into parenting and wants, you know, to have this like kind of like perfect ideal life, a family life with his kids and his spouse. And so as I was building the backyard, I wanted to make sure to include some play equipment and kind of thinking of it as being like a family space. I thought about doing a pool, but ultimately I decided just to put in like the kids' outdoor equipment. I did a swing set and monkey bars, and then I was like, oh my gosh, that's right, Paul loves basketball. I need a basketball court. So I did put in like a real basketball court for Paul and a basketball hoop, and I can see him with his kids like out playing basketball, and maybe they're kind of into it, but maybe they're not really. They're kind of like, well, you know, this is fun, but I'd rather be doing like a bunch of other things. And I know the Renaissance sim aspiration is like you're leveling up a lot of skills. Like you're kind of what do they say? Something like you're, you know, mediocre in a lot of things but an expert in nothing kind of thing. That's kind of like the vibe of the Renaissance sim. And so, you know, I could see them being like, yeah, you know, basketball is fun, but now I want to go do this, and having that attitude. So now that I've kind of got all of that done, I'm going in and doing some landscaping. I basically just kind of put the bushes all the way around the house to kind of make it look a little bit more manicured and neater. And I do a little bit of grass and, you know, put some flower bushes in the back here. And I just kind of did them along that one side because I'm thinking, you know, with the kids, you know, maybe they don't want a lot of flowers and plants in the backyard because they don't want the kids to like trample things. So now I'm just going in and I'm putting in some terrain paint in the backyard and just kind of doing like, where do I think kids might be walking, and doing some terrain paint under the bushes and around the house. And yeah, this has been most of the build. I am pleased with how it turned out. Like I said, I think that I'm getting better at building. I'm still not, you know, as good as some people, but you know, I'm okay with it. And now that we are into the screenshots, I will let you take a look at those, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will talk to you again soon.